Harry lost his mom when he was very young, and that is something that devastates a young boy.
What was your reaction when you saw kind of how he stepped up after Diana died, or, how present he really was as a father when Diana was in the picture too? And I don't think a lot of people really knew that about him.
I didn't know that about him, to be honest, even after doing the Diana film. We found incredible footage. The whole thing is loaded with either never seen or broadcast once kind of images. And for me, I'm a father. I have two sons. And to see him playing with his sons when his sons were 8 and 11, thereabouts, up in Scotland, running around, hearing what his hopes are for his children. This is in the early 90s. Mm-hmm. Their mom is still alive. The marriage is falling apart. But you look at that and, I am a sentimentalist, right? So I look at those images and I think, God, where did it all go wrong? Mm-hmm. Look at this. There was so much love in that footage, and joy and happiness, and it's exactly what you would want a father and son relationship to be. And I was surprised that we found that footage and that he was so close to them in that way. Mm-hmm. Because don't forget Prince Philip, his father, he was, I don't think there are images like that of Charles with his father, mm-hmm. but he certainly broke the cycle there and had that kind of relationship with his sons. And I loved watching that. And, you think, there's a moment in time, so obviously several, where he was extremely close to them, and most of the world had no clue. And, maybe they'll see this and say, I didn't know that about. I think there's a lot of in this.
Yeah, film. No, I agree. As somebody that's been covering the royals for quite some time, I definitely learned a lot about him that like you said, you don't realize how complex he really was. And,
yes.
There's just so many different layers that I don't think a lot of people realize about him too. And of course you touch on Spare and the fallout with mm-hmm. Prince Harry. I mean, mm-hmm. watching back all these interviews and doing your research, I mean, in your opinion, where do you think kind of what went wrong or the disconnect that happened between the two of them? Because they were so incredibly close.
They were, it's apparent from those images. And, we found an interview with Harry in 2005 talking about the press and how his father tries to, protect them from the press. He does the best job he can. I think, my mom died when I was very young, so I can empathize with Harry. And I think the way that Diana died, how she was just taken so quickly, and he at such a young age for Harry, well, both boys, but especially Harry, that's a wound that doesn't really go away. And I think he's just been hard. This is my opinion. Mm-hmm. I'm not basing it, just on what I've seen and heard. And I think he's really angry that Diana was taken from him so early, and he needs a place to put that anger. Mm-hmm. And whether it's the institution of the monarchy or Charles, and that's his right to do. If he feels it's warranted. But I think it was probably there all along. I don't know if there was an inciting moment. All of the stuff with Meghan, for example, I didn't follow it close enough to say, right then, when that happened, that was the tipping point that went over. I think it was just a slow build, but I think the subtext to everything is that Harry lost his mom when he was very young, and that is something that devastates a young boy, and it's a pain that doesn't really ever go away. And I think that feeds into everything else that's been going on with him and his father.
Yeah, you hope that they can come to some sort of resolution eventually.
They need to just sit down, or you know what they should do? They should go back to that lake in Scotland.
Exactly.
Loch Mulloch, I think it's called. They should go back there and just hang out. And I think that would do them a lot of good. Go
Seriously.
fishing,
Talk it out. I know you kind of answered this a little bit before, but I mean, do you think that he will be that rebel prince, or will he follow in his mother's footsteps? Or do you think it'll be a little bit of a mix of both as we enter
It'll
this
definitely
chapter?
be a mix. I'm leaning towards the rebel prince, but again, with a slow burn, long game point of view, I think he's going to modernize the monarchy, as you had mentioned, slim it down, make it feel more contemporary. He'll probably, he's a great love of architecture, for example. So he does love, things from the past. I think the vestiges of the look and kind of vibe of the past will be somehow incorporated into our present. I think that it will be a mix of both, like you said, for now. But my prediction is watch as he succeeds at that, watch it ramp up and up and up and up and up until we see the rebel prince in full. That's my prediction for you.
For more news, content, and exclusive interviews, make sure to hit the sub, like, and bell button down below and visit usmagazine.com.